Hey, this is Brett Borkin with California Title Company. Thank you for watching the video today. Today we have Bill Thomas, our advisory title officer, LA manager, and vice president of California Title Company. Bill's been doing this for 30 plus years, and we've been working together for 23 plus years. So, Bill, recently in the high-end luxury real estate market in Los Angeles, we saw a big change in July. What was that big change?
Well, that change was the threshold for Measure ULA. So, the mansion tax got changed from 5 million to 5,150,000 on the lower threshold, which is a 3% bump. And then the higher threshold from 10 million to 10,300,000 dollars. So a little bit of relief, but it was only a 3% relief. And the assessor, or I should say the city of LA, actually said that they would revisit it every year to see if they would have to increase or decrease depending on the market value and such forth. And then in this first year or first annual year, they decided to move it up 3%.
Right. Okay, great. Now, since title companies are pretty much the entity that handles the taxes because it is a lien and we paid off, how do we go about? Do we go about calculating those fees, or does escrow go out doing it? How does that work?
So basically, the city and the county recorder have bestowed that responsibility upon us. So we have to calculate that. We work in conjunction with the escrow on making sure the calculation is correct. There is a calculator with the city, so that assists us as well. But basically, it's bestowed upon us to make certain that we actually collect those fees and present those to the city of LA. So in order for us to record, the actual escrow has to have that funds upfront to be able to present to us, so we can present it to the county recorder.
Right. So we're actually having to take a couple extra steps as a title company with this whole process, right?
Correct. So not only one are we having to actually calculate it out to make certain that it's correct. Two,
right.
We have to make certain that it's actually affixed to the grant deed properly and that it's presented to the county recorder properly so they can pay the city of LA.
Right. Now, it's only been on since July, and we know people can get creative. Have we seen any creative ways around paying this tax?
Yeah, I have. And yeah, I have. There's been some instances where only half the property gets sold at one point and the other half of the property gets sold at another point if you have two ownerships of record or two buyers.
Yeah.
So I have seen that happen. Not saying that California Title's done that.
Right.
And we won't, those, but
yeah. We won't give an address.
Yeah. But I have seen that they have brought that in where maybe the sellers, there's two different sellers, so each one is selling their undivided 50% interest, or you got two buyers coming in and they're buying their 50% interest, so they're able to bifurcate the sales price in that instance.
Right. Now, and Bill, I know you and I say up on a lot of these things. Have you heard any talk about working on eliminating this tax, or do you think it might be eliminated at some point, or do you think it might be increased? What's your personal opinion, I guess, with stuff you've read and conversations you've been a part of?
It's very interesting because at the beginning there was a lot of steam that we thought it was going to get overturned by some lawsuits that were presented by the Howard Jarvis group and some other groups, and unfortunately they actually lost their cases. They were dismissed or just basically thrown out that they didn't have enough substance to their cases. In addition, there was going to be a ballot initiative that was going to go in November in the state that was basically going to ask that this kind of a tax had to be a 2/3 vote by the actual taxpayers of the state of California. But what happened is the Supreme Court of California, they actually did away with that actual ballot initiative. So it's not going to come on to November 1st. So I think it's going to be with us for a little bit. Yeah. I think at one point, someone will get enough steam again to muster that up. I will say this, the market above $5 million has cooled off a little bit. So I think the city's going to see that, and they're going to see that there's going to be need to make some maybe further adjustments of such sort. Sure. That's my personal opinion. Yeah. But we'll see how that goes along. I mean, it's just really we're at a point where we don't know what's going to happen with it. So I think it's with us for a little bit, at least for another year.
Yes, so it's definitely interesting times. So one of the things I have a question. If an agent comes to me and says, "Hey, Brett, I've taken this $8 million listing. Could you help me calculate the taxes?" So that's something we could do. We could help provide an agent.
Absolutely. So, we can actually take the formula, but the city has presented to us and we can calculate it for them and present that back to them.
Okay, so agents, as a service, I think that's something great. If you're going to go on a listing appointment, you might want to call me. We'll get a hold of Bill and his unit and his department and ask, "Hey, let's get these numbers for you." So that way, when you're sitting down at the living room table, you could give some better idea when you're with your net sheets and stuff like that. So, well, thank you, Bill, for your time. It's always some interesting stuff going on with taxes. We understand title is not the most exciting topic. But it's very important, and there's stuff that you guys need to know about, and definitely your sellers need to know. So thank you for your time, Bill, and thank you for watching.
Thanks for having me, Brett.